The idea that corporate-owned housing is able to raise your rent $300-400 a month or something, under what I'm about to announce, they can't raise it more than $55.
Biden meant to say 5%, not $55. And he seemed to be leaning in to read a prompter more clearly. I don't know, I can't tell. But either way, he misspoke. And you might think to yourself, it's okay, everyone misspeaks, right? No, in the rest of his speech, he froze up and had difficulty expressing what his policy proposals are. Let's stay on the topic of housing and rent increases and take a look.
We're gonna bring rents down, as I said. We're gonna build 2 million affordable homes and cap rent increases of 5% a year so corporate landlords can't gouge. Anyway, I don't wanna get going. I'm gonna get very upset.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team. So this was the speech that Biden gave at the NAACP Convention. There are other snippets that we're gonna show you. You should watch the entire speech for yourself if you have time, so you can get a sense of what we're talking about. It was a difficult speech to watch, to say the least. You know, there's the mental decline part of this story. There's also the fact that housing prices have exploded under Biden's watch. People have been complaining about private equity firms and corporations buying up the limited supply of housing we have and then turning into essentially slumlords, increasing rents while refusing to maintain the buildings and actually take care of the units that they're renting out. And it isn't until now, when Biden is really, really struggling politically, that he decided, oh, maybe I should float something about this. But the constitutionality of the proposal here essentially would be a national law that would cap rent increases to 5%. It's nice to think about. It's not gonna happen. And so it's just frustrating all around, both politically speaking and in regard to his performance of the speech.
Yeah, look, we could talk about housing, and right now Trump's a disaster on that. He would let private equity run wild, but the Democrats have let them run wild.
Yep.
And private equity is gigantic donors to both Democrats and Republicans. And so that's why they're never really gonna do anything about it. But much more importantly, he can't finish a sentence. He can't finish any sentence. He finishes anything with, anyways. I mean, how many times have you heard him say anyway over just the last week?
Yeah.
We're in the dozens. So, okay, let's say the prompter is wrong and you're having trouble seeing the prompter. Okay, it happens, not that big a deal. But you don't know that your own policy proposal is to cap it at 5%, not $55? So if that was my proposal and I accidentally read $55, I'd go, oh, I'm sorry, I meant 5%. Because I know it's not to cap it at $55. What is that? That doesn't even make sense. That's not a thing that can, well, you don't know what the rent is. How could you possibly cap it at a $55 increase? It makes no sense. He doesn't even realize it doesn't make sense. This guy is totally gone. So this is really one of the most embarrassing things that this country's gone through in a long time.
And look, it wasn't just those moments of the speech. As I mentioned earlier, the entirety of the speech was incredibly difficult. He struggled through it. In fact, I want to give you one other example, and it has to do with Biden's thoughts on things like high-speed rail and how important it is. Let's take a look.
Like America's first high-speed rail line that's going to take you from Las Vegas to Los Angeles in 2 hours. Create over 30,000 jobs, and guess what? Save billions of tons because of pollution. Because people, all the studies show, you can get from point A to point B in a train or a vehicle at the same distance, you take the train.
Again, his performance there, awful, clear cognitive decline. And then on top of it, he's talking about the California high-speed rail, which we've been pouring so much money into. There's no real movement on it. And it is a project that has been a complete and utter disaster and a waste of taxpayer money, which is so frustrating. But again, we don't have to focus on the policy and how much of a failure the high-speed rail project has been. The whole reason why we're showing you this is because of how terrible this speech was. And it's just honestly not fair to Democratic voters to continue pretending like Biden has a shot at winning this election. And it's also not fair to Biden to have him do these speeches. It humiliates him, and it's just not fair for him to end his political career. His entire career has been a political career, and this is how it's gonna end?
Yeah, well, definitely. TYT.com/campaign/dropout. Links in the description box. So look, the Democrats have been promising us that rail system for what, 2 decades, 3 decades? Never delivered. Again, back to the speech though. The most important thing for you guys to remember is that Biden doesn't just have to prove that he's not in mental decline. If he proves that, he doesn't win the election. He then has to make up 15, 16 points. How is that guy going to prove to you that he's in perfectly great shape and then do a 16-point miraculous comeback that no other politician has ever done? It's not even remotely possible. Please, for God's sake, try to win this election. Get totally new ticket.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.